Okay, now see. So today we will discuss first provision for tax. Some rules are to be followed for provision for tax. See first point. If single amount is given, that will be added in step 1 and less in step 4. Now single amount means that either you may get tax paid information or you may get provision for tax information in the question. Then what to be done regarding that we have to discuss. What is step 1 and step 4, that also you have to remember. I will just remind you. Either you will be given in the question information about tax paid, or you may get in question information regarding provision for tax. Single information. Single information means only 1 year information, or you can say current year information. What has been done regarding tax in the current year, that is only given in the question. Then how to deal with that in the question, in the solution, when you are preparing cash flow statement. So either it will be given or it will be given. Any one information will be given to you. Then in that situation, what to do? First, just try to recall the step 1. Step 1 is what? Step 1 is calculation of net profit before tax. Where we add the 3 things: tax, dividend, and reserves. We have discussed this part in detail. So this is your step 1. So there you will add this tax information, whatever given to you in the question. Then in step 4, what is step 4? Step 4 is, see, your step 2 is addition of, just let me remind you again. Step 2 is non-cash and non-operating expenses and incomes. Non-operating expenses and incomes. These you have to adjust there. In step 3, you will adjust the current assets and current liabilities, increase, decrease. And then after completion of third step, you get the cash flow from operating activity. From that, you have to subtract the tax paid. So there you will either subtract the tax paid, or if question has given you provision for tax of that year, that you will subtract. Because see, in 1 year, there are 2 events regarding tax. One, you have to make the provision for tax for the current year income that you will be paying the next year. And one is that you have paid the tax for the previous year income. So because question has given us only one information out of these 2, either tax paid information is given or either provision for tax information is given. So we will be assuming that this is the current year provision also, same amount of provision of tax we will be making for the same year also, and we will be paying the same amount of tax also for the last year. So for that reason, we will add this in either of these informations in step 1, while calculating provision before profit before tax, and we will deduct the same amount in step 4. Step this first is clear or not? First part of this one, provision for tax, is clear or not? Any query? Now coming to the second part. In second case, you may get two informations regarding provision for tax. If opening and closing balance is given in the question, then what to do? Then you will be having one current year balance and you will be having one previous year balance. Like you can see this one right now. Don't use this information. Just think that only this working note is given, or you can say this balance sheet is given. You have been given only two balances. One is opening balance and one is closing balance. So opening balance is how much? Can you tell me? Opening balance is how much? Yes, 1 lakh. And closing balance is how much? Yes, closing balance is 1,30,000. So current year balance is what? It is 1,30,000 in the given question. You can see it also. And opening balance or previous year balance, you can say it is 1 lakh in the question given. Now, what to do in that situation? We will be adding the closing balance, means this one, assuming that this is the current year provision. This is the current year provision for tax. So in step 1, we will be adding here 1,30,000. And in step 4, where we have to deduct the tax paid, we will assume that this is the provision made last year on 31st March. So we would have paid this 1 lakh in the current year as income tax. So that's why this 1 lakh will be deducted here in the step 4 as tax paid. So when two informations are given, when the opening and closing balance of provision for tax is given to you in the balance sheet, then this will be treated as tax paid for the year in step 4, and this amount 1,30,000 will be treated as current year provision. So that will be added in step 1 for the purpose of calculating profit before tax. Yes, please. Case second is clear. This is case second. Now this is clear. Okay, now coming to case third. In case third, what will happen? You have been given the opening balance as well as closing balance, but along with that, you have been given one more information in the additional information section. So now you are having 3 informations regarding tax. Now in that situation, what to do? So in that situation, we will be preparing provision for tax account. We will prepare provision for tax account when we will be getting 3 informations. Now how to make the account with the help of these 3 informations? Let's see. First thing, we will write the opening and closing balance. Can you tell me the nature of opening balance of provision for tax? It will be credit balance or debit balance? It will be credit balance or debit balance in provision for tax account. Yes, very good. Provisions always have credit balance. Keep it in mind. All provisions have credit balance. If you remember the provision for depreciation account, that also have credit balance. By balance brought down, and that balance is given here 1 lakh. And closing balance will be also having credit balance will also be a closing balance will also be a credit balance, but closing balance is always calculated on the opposite side. So here we will write to balance carried down. This is the closing balance of provision for tax account, that is given 1,30,000. Yes, please. Till here it is clear how to write the opening balance and closing balance. Some students generally do some mistake that they always write this closing balance also in the first line. So that is wrong actually. So that's why you should know where we will be writing the closing balance. Now there are two types of informations that can be the third information. There can be two types of informations in the provision for tax account now. One may be for the tax paid, or it can be for the provision made during the year. Provision made during the year. So there can be two informations, two additional informations. So what journal entry we will do in this case? Tax paid during the year. The journal entry will be provision for tax account debit. To bank account. Provision for tax account debit to bank account. Or if I am making the provision during the year, then the journal entry will be statement of profit and loss debit to provision for tax account. So these two entries can be there. This will be for tax payment and this will be for provision made during the current year. So out of these two, you will get always one information in the question, and one information you have to calculate on your own. So in this question, I am assuming that tax paid during the year 90,000 has been given. So what will be the journal entry here? Provision for tax account debit to bank account. $90,000 I will write here. So now I can calculate the fourth information from this account. How I will be calculating? The total will become here. Total will be here 2,20,000. This total will go on the opposite side. And then we will calculate here by statement of profit and loss. Profit and loss. And this is the balancing figure. That's why I have to write here, because I have to tell the examiner that this information I have calculated from the given information. So that amount will be 1,20,000. So first part is that I have to calculate either of these two informations. Either I will be calculating this one if this information is given, or I will be calculating the provision made during the current year. One information will be given and one information I will be calculating. Now after calculation of this, how to use the amounts? So 1,20,000 is the provision made during the year. Okay, please. In step 1, for the calculation of profit before tax, I have to add the provision made during the current year. So this is the provision made during the current year. So 1,20,000